Now we're going to get into some really fun stuff. Are you having fun, by the way? Okay. I don't always read nonverbal cues really well, so I'm going to need some concrete verbal feedback. Are you enjoying yourself so far? Yes. Okay. Is this useful for you? Yes. Okay. By all means, ask questions too. Or just say, that was really neat. Thank you. That's helpful too. So I imagine all of you that work with kids do so. Why? You enjoy it. And what are the most important things that you want to meet for children? Their needs. What are their needs, by the way? Each of them is different. But what are their needs? They need to feel loved. Anything else? Acceptance, happy. That they want to succeed. What else? Safe. Any others? Independent. How do you know this? You just read the tag on the back of the kid's head. Wash gently, dry clean only. That's how you take care of this kid. How do you know? They're no different than we are. But are they different in some respects? Okay. We're very much alike, but we also have individual differences. Are there any constants amongst all of our experiences? Because we're all human beings, yes? We all have shared experience that we call our humanity, the human experience. So within that experience, are there any foundational needs that you know we all have? What do you thought? Imagine what would happen if your behavior plans, your parenting, any work you did, used those foundational pieces with everybody. Because if you hit them at the core of their humanity, you won't just focus on changing behavior, teaching a social skill, something superficial, but you hit them where they live. You hit them in their heart and their experience. How much of a difference would it make for their lives? A little bit of a difference? A significant difference? Now, if I happen to know what those needs are, would you like me to share them with you? Okay, let's do that then. The first need is the need of certainty. So what does certainty mean? It means you want some things you can count on. About a year ago in this wonderful town, you experienced a significant amount of uncertainty in the form of a flood. Who here lived through that? A lot of you. So you demonstrated some significant resourcefulness and resilience, did you not? When I flew in yesterday, I had the privilege of riding a cab to the hotel. The gentleman driving the cab, we had a little bit of an exchange about the flood. I said, how did you deal with that? He says, well, what are you going to do? You can't send it back. He's absolutely right. It stunk. It was terrifying. It was destructive, but it was the reality. So in terms of certainty, some of the important things about your own personal story is you know you are resourceful. You know you are resilient. Your entire story tells you that. You are certain of it. So you simply need to apply it. So you can be certain about those things of yourself. In uncertain circumstances, you can be certain about your own capabilities. Or if you don't feel particularly resourceful in that situation, find someone who is. The gentleman who was working the technology this morning. I was uncertain about certain difficulties we were having. I didn't know how to solve the problem. I didn't have the resources in my mind to take care of it. Guess who did? So his resources were far more vast in that area than mine. So I was able to utilize his genius to help solve a problem I was having. That's why we need each other. So in terms of certainty, what areas of your life do you want certainty in? You have a place to go at the end of the day? Can you be more specific? Home. Okay. There's a place called home that you are cared for there. You are safe there. So you not only want certainty of that structure, you want certainty of those experiences. That when I go there, I will feel cared for. I will feel safe there. I will be accepted there. Anybody here have employment at the time? Or you all just kind of wandering off the street? You have a job, right? You'd like to have a certain degree of certainty that will not change. That when you go there, it's waiting for you. It's going to pay you the same and hopefully more at some point. That when you start your car up in the morning, it's going to do what? Start. That when you go shopping, that you can afford it, that the people will be nice, they'll be helpful, the things you were looking for will be there. If they said it's on sale, it better darn well be in stock. You want certainty, things you can count on, predictability. That's the first need we all have. There are some people that say, oh, I like living spontaneous. I don't like to go with the flow. Baloney. Maybe in certain circumstances you do, but not all the time. We all require a certain degree of certainty. Because if you say, oh, I just like the thrill, the unpredictability, whatever. So I go skydiving. Okay? Would you like some certainty that your chute's going to open? Something tells me yes. The second need is variety. So as much as we like things that are predictable, things we can count on, if we have nothing but certainty, then you experience boredom. There's nothing new. Hey, how's it going? Same stuff, different day. Same old, same old. Nothing's new. Boring. Too much certainty. So you need some variety, something new, something fresh, something to mix it up. How do you get that? What's that? Go out and look for it. How does that work exactly? There's one way you can get some variety. And the stuff in my house, I've had the same stuff for a long time. I haven't got anything new in a while. How do I change this? There you go. I'm having fun with this because I do it sometimes too. My wife likes to buy shoes. My older boy wants to buy video games. For me, I'll go download a new app. Add some variety, some newness, some sense of discovery. Now, it doesn't always have to bring something into your life that isn't already there. Sometimes it's just a matter of changing your emotional state. You're feeling kind of bummed, you're feeling kind of tired, you want your energy brought back up. So you go and find something that does that for you. Anybody listen to music to elevate your mood? Yeah. I use music a lot. That's variety. I'm bored with feeling tired. Need a little bit more bounce in my step. I'll listen to rock music, or if I'm anxious, I need something to calm me down. And there's one song that always does that for me. I listen to it, all of a sudden the anxiety goes away, and I'm feeling much more centered, much more relaxed, because I brought a little variety into my experience. Do you all eat the same food every single day? See, my son, my older boy, only has 4 things he likes to eat. One of them pizza. But he considers it variety if he buys a different brand of pizza this week. Mix it up a little bit. The third need is significance. Significance, in my opinion, is the experience of knowing that you matter. That simply by being here, you have value. So it doesn't matter if you have certainty, if you have variety, if you feel like you don't matter, There's something seriously lacking in your life. There's a group of people that has certainty and variety that a lot of them don't feel significant. Those are folks that are homeless. They're certain yesterday they didn't have a house. Today they're certain that they're not going to have a house. They have some variety that they're not sure whether they're going to have something to eat or not. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. They don't know what the weather is going to have. And a lot of them feel very insignificant. So you can have one essential need go unmet. Doesn't matter if the rest of them are, especially one that's that core. Let's say you have somebody on the autism spectrum. They have their predictability. They have everything just the way they want it. Enough variety to keep things interesting, but not enough to cause a panic attack. But all they get all day long is criticism. You messed up again. You're not doing this good enough. You need to correct that. How significant does this person feel? What if this person's primary experience socially is being bullied? Where's the significance? They can have wonderful grades because they immerse themselves in the certainty of their academic prowess. Straight A's, clinically depressed. So anybody in a school setting that says, oh, but the grades are so good, what's the problem? My child doesn't feel like he or she matters. That's a big problem. So again, having one or two needs met doesn't matter. You need them all met. The fourth need is love and connection. Now, they're very similar, but they're also very different. In order to connect with someone else, how do you do that? Because we know one of the hallmarks of the spectrum is that you have difficulty connecting with another person. See, when I learned I was on the spectrum, it explained a lot about my life, as it does for a lot of adults. But when I found out that my older boy was on the spectrum, and the school thought the solution was to medicate him and tell him to do what he's told, I knew I had to figure out how to help him do the very things he would need to be effective in this world with other people. But I first needed to learn how to do it. So I absolutely immersed myself in doing anything and everything I needed to master the art of connecting with other people. And I've gotten pretty darn good at it. But first you need to know, what is that? Is connection simply looking someone in the eye when they're talking to you? Is that connection? Because can you be completely tuned out while looking someone in the eye? Then you're not connected. So how do you know when you are? Because if you don't know what it is, you can't teach it. Relating and responding. Relating with what? Okay, likes and dislikes. You have some common interests. So tell me a like that you might share with someone else. Shopping. Any others? Let's look at the total experience cycle. Thoughts, feelings, physiology, action. You are connected with a person when you are in similar places, and all four of those things at the same time. You're thinking, feeling, doing simultaneously, and you're looking to each other, you're checking in. Man, wasn't that funny? Yeah, that was hilarious. You have similar body gestures, similar emotional states, similar thoughts about it. The more similar experiences you're having at the same time and wanting to share those with each other, the sharing of those moments right here, right now is connection. Does that make sense? That's how you do connection. So when you want to connect with another person, you need to know what their thoughts are. You need to know what their feelings are. Because simply making eye contact is one part of the experience cycle. It's just physiology. It's just how you're using your body. If you're thinking different thoughts, if you're having different feelings, you will not be connected. You're just practicing mechanics. That's one of my biggest concerns about social skills teachings. They teach you superficial mechanics. When this person says this, you say that. Okay, are your thoughts aligned? Are your feelings aligned? Are you looking to have a same visceral experience? Are you simply playing verbal tennis? That is not connection. Again, it's acting. Well, I said the right things. Why don't they like me? Because you didn't connect with each other. You did not share an experience. And again, this is just not about the spectrum. This is relationships. Human relationships, regardless of who they are. Now, that's just connection. What is this love thing? We all talk about it. We buy Hallmark cards to extend our love to other people. We write about it. I love this. I love that. We put on our license plates. I heart my chihuahua. We talk about love all the time. What is it? What's love? And don't give me the, well, you just know. Being connected, part of it is connected, but connected how? Emotionally connected? Trust? Now again, I'm giving you my experience. Love is when you feel connected to somebody else at your deepest level of vulnerability, and you trust that the person that you're being that vulnerable with will honor that. They will not exploit it. They will be there with you in that place. And when you can be happy being vulnerable with someone else, that's love. Now, I'm not talking romantic love here. I'm talking like a child to parent. Could be best friend to best friend. Could be one spouse to another. There's a book written probably 20 years ago called The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. I'll paraphrase this. He explained love as the complete commitment to another person's growth. Because sometimes love can be a little selfish. What's in it for me? But that unconditional love is when you look to somebody else and you're thinking primarily, not only, because if you're only thinking of somebody else, that's a martyr and your needs go unmet. But if you're thinking primarily of what value can I bring to this person's life? What is it about me, my unique talents, that if I contribute to this person's life, their life will improve, they will grow? That's love. Does that make sense? Well, I kind of paraphrased, I don't remember it. But it's the complete commitment to someone else's growth. And ironically, the fifth need that we all have is growth. Anybody here like the feeling that they've gotten absolutely nowhere? So what's going on? Same place I was yesterday. Haven't moved an inch. Everything is hunky-dory. You learn anything new today? Not a darn thing. Some people that can be so immersed in their certainty that they won't budge. They don't want any variety. They don't take any opportunity of anything new to come in. And yet they'll come to you and say, I'm bored. I'm so bored. Oh, you want to do this? No. How about this? No. I want to change my emotional state, but I don't want to take any chances, any risks. I don't do anything whatsoever. I simply want it to happen all by itself in a completely safe way. It doesn't require me to stretch or move in any way. Who knows people like this? And yet, you look at all of those people who claim to not like unpredictability, they don't like new things, and yet they're not in the same spot they were however many years ago. They have grown in spite of themselves. But they need to realize that. One thing that, again, my sons are very frustrated when I give them this. My 14-year-old, I can't remember what the gift was, but he wanted it so badly. He was trying to sell me on the fact that he was physically incapable of waiting for it any longer. He had to have it. I said, how old are you? 14. So you've waited 14 years to get to this point. Would you agree? Yeah. So you're telling me you can do that, but you can't wait for this game? Well, it's not the same. Well, what's not the same? Is it because you don't want to wait? Well, yeah, I don't want to. Okay, but before you told me that you couldn't wait. So is it that you can't wait or you don't want to wait? Well, I don't want to. How would you like to prove to yourself that you can? Well, I already know that I can. I just don't want to. Well, if you know that you can, why don't you prove it? Needless to say, my experiment's the one that won over because I had the cash, I had the vehicle, I did not have to go and get it for him. So he knows impatience is not leverage in my house. You cannot come up to me and be impatient and expect me to move. So whenever he has that experience, he has grown. Look what you've just learned about yourself. You have now reinforced and become more patient than you were previously because you took the time to hone that skill. And feel free to use that one in your own house. Are there any couples in this room? Husbands and wives? Okay. Which one of you just saying, oh yeah, I needed this one? Okay. The sixth need is contribution. What is contribution? Is it dropping a coin in the Salvation Army tin every year? What do you think the kind of contribution that really just lights you up, energizes you, helps you feel significant, helps you feel connected? You think maybe I find value in this contribution that I'm making right now? Unless y'all lied to me earlier about it being useful to you. Well, it's because I wanted you to feel good. So I told you what you wanted to hear. Can we move on now? What kind of contribution do you think I'm talking about here? Giving of yourself. Because is there anybody else that can do that? Is there anybody else that can give of yourself? Anybody can drop money in a tin. Anybody can write a check, send it off. Only you, this is very critical, please note this. Only you can give your time and your attention. And that is priceless. Because when you give your time, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. Time is something you will never, ever, ever get more of. You can always make more money. You can always go buy more shoes. You cannot get your time back. When someone gives you their time and their attention, they're giving you the greatest gift anybody can ever give anyone. Because you can't get it back. Of all the things any one of you could have been doing today, you came here. You're giving your time today. You're giving your attention to me. And I want to make sure I honor that by giving you more value than you expected when you walked in here. because I realize you could be doing anything else, but you're here. And I hold that very sacred. So I want to contribute absolutely everything I can. Say when you're working with a child, when you're working with your child or someone else's, when you're talking to your spouse. Your child runs up to you and says, oh, I got to tell you something. Wait for the commercial. Don't interrupt, you're being rude. That moment is now lost. Because your child said, I want your time. I want your attention. I want the two most sacred things that you've got. I want you to contribute them to me. Now, I'm sure they don't realize that. They don't see it that way, but that's essentially what they're asking for. The way you can always contribute to someone else's life, it's not because you have the fastest car, you have the nicest clothes, you have the most money. It's simply because in that moment you are there and nowhere else. You're not compiling your grocery list while someone's telling you about their day. You are present. You're giving them your time and your attention. You're giving of your unique gifts. That is contribution. And every single one of you can do that. Don't learn anything new. You have to go and get some special skills. You just have to be there. And when you are in the moment, attending, and you are present, you think maybe you're a little bit more connected than most folks? You think you're helping the person in front of you feeling significant. It's amazing how many of those needs can get met simply by being there, by being present, by giving of your undivided attention.